Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to see you again in today's news program. Here we will share and interact with the latest news and hottest events that are of interest to the public at home and abroad. Details will be available shortly.
On the BOP front in Donetsk province, the latest developments on the battlefield reflect that the Russian offensive is falling into chaos and dispersion, threatening to cause the collapse of the entire campaign. Specifically, according to European press, reports from the BR frontline said that the level of Russian attacks on both flanks has decreased significantly. Ukrainian analysts commented that the recent Russian attacks were disjointed and uncoordinated, without the support of heavy mechanized forces. On the western flank near Ukt, Russian offensive efforts were said to have been reduced to chaotic infiltrations, completely lacking combined arms support. On the eastern flank near Minarat, the situation was no better when patchwork attacks ended with Russian soldiers abandoning their vehicles and retreating under heavy Ukrainian fire. When Russia's efforts to encircle the area were said to have failed, Ukraine was quick to take advantage of the opportunity. In Ukn, Ukrainian units launched a fierce counterattack, liberating the town and re-raising the national flag in the center of the area. Video footage from the battlefield shows Ukrainian forces inside UDN while Russian attempts to regain control of the area failed. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian General Staff said that on May 15 there were 173 clashes between Ukraine and Russia on the battlefield, with the most intense Russian attacks recorded in the city of Borovy.in. An attempt to regain the initiative on the eastern flank near Minarat, the Ukrainian army repelled a series of Russian armored attacks, then counterattacked and pushed the enemy back. In particular, footage from near Herodipka is said to show Russian troops retreating under pressure from Ukrainian Marines.
On May 16, in an interview with the Nghe newspaper, the Russian embassy in Oslo said that Norway is becoming a testing ground for new weapons for NATO's Arctic military strategy. The Russian diplomatic representative said that most of these weapons are used against Moscow. Previously, smart anti-ship bombs designed to attack mobile targets at sea at long distances were tested in Norwegian waters. According to Russian experts, the North Atlantic Alliance is keeping an eye on Norway because the country is preparing for military operations in the Arctic, where it will test unmanned aerial vehicles. Russian military expert Alexenkov noted that Norway was not chosen randomly because Oslo is located on the northern flank of NATO and the US-led military bloc has long planned to strengthen its military position in the Arctic theater. Moreover, the Northern Sea route passes through the testing sites and the US wants to control or blockade this area. Developing modern weapons systems that can operate in Arctic conditions is essential to that goal. The expert told Investia that Norway has the ability to develop military equipment that can operate in the Arctic and that it has some innovative solutions. According to Leon Kopp, Russia is ready for NATO exercises. Moscow has its own program to re-equip its fleet, including hypersonic anti-ship systems of the Kinnan type or cruise missiles, and Russia is working on developing next-generation missile systems. For his part, Vadim Kulin, director of the Institute of Contemporary International Affairs at the Diplomatic Academy of the Russian Foreign Ministry, believes that the Arctic is an area of growing interest to NATO. He explained that future weapons tested in the region will include submarine-launched unmanned aerial vehicles. They would be used for strikes and reconnaissance in the event of a military conflict, the expert added, and the US would play a key role in NATO's Arctic strategy. He said the Arctic could already be a testing ground for the technology.
In the context of drones becoming popular in the Russia-Ukraine war, military robots operating on the ground are also increasingly asserting their important role in real combat. With a variety of types from light electric to heavy diesel models, they undertake many tasks from attack, mine clearance, supply transportation, rescue, and many other complex technical tasks. Ukraine has also recently launched a new type of military robot called Buffalo, combining AI artificial intelligence with modular technology to serve the task of gunnery and mine clearance on the front line. Buffalo belongs to the group of heavy vehicles. Unlike many previous robot models, it is designed to travel long distances and can continue to operate even when hit by bullets. Buffalo's biggest strength is its diesel engine combined with a fuel tank that can be customized for each mission, allowing the vehicle to operate continuously for a distance of 100 to 200 kilometers without changing the battery. This is a clear advantage over electric robots that are difficult to meet the requirements of long-term battles. Not only is it durable, Buffalo is also designed to withstand harsh combat conditions. Its European armored chassis helps it withstand infantry force well and minimize damage when 152mm cannons explode at a distance of over 100 m. Even after being damaged, the wheels can continue to operate, ensuring that the vehicle is not completely disabled. Buffalo's communication system is also focused on. The vehicle uses steering combined with GPS or radio waves with CRPA antenna to prevent interference. In case Starlink is interrupted or disabled, the UAV with the integrated role can immediately relay the signal to maintain connection for the mission. With a weight of about 4 tons, a maximum speed of 20 km/h and the ability to move close to the ground, Buffalo can both ensure mobility and maintain secrecy in real combat. At the same time, the powerful engine also allows it to transport supplies or rescue stranded vehicles, contributing to optimizing mission time and limiting risks for soldiers on the battlefield. Buffalo is also equipped with a modern camera system that detects obstacles within a range of 15 m, thereby automatically suggesting a safe route and stopping when necessary. Although there is AI to support navigation, all decisions are still in the hands of humans. The director of the VLAB project affirmed. The robot can lock on to the target and follow it, but it is absolutely not allowed to decide to attack on its own. I will never let it replace humans to do that. The Buffalo project officially started in January this year. After only a few months, the research team has successfully manufactured and tested a specialized version for mine clearance, including the vehicle body, hydraulic system, grinding copper, control panel, and trailer. According to the developer, about 70% of Buffalo's components are produced in Ukraine, mainly domestic electronics and optics. The rest are imported from European suppliers. Buffalo is designed with a modular architecture that allows quick disassembly of parts so that the robot can easily transform to adapt to a variety of missions. The development team is currently testing additional remote infantry weapon and tool modules to be installed on the robot. Currently, the 11-channel radio jamming system has passed testing and is ready to be integrated into the platform. Mr. Vlap added, "We are aiming for a simple platform where each part can be removed and replaced with another part." Regarding the roadmap, the team will hold an official introduction before proceeding with technical standardization and putting into production. The initial capacity is expected to be around 10 units per month, with plans to be ready to increase production scale according to demand. The cost of the vehicle has not been announced yet.
On September 16, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said she had a phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump about stepping up joint efforts to increase economic pressure on Russia through additional measures. In a post on social network X, Ms. Van den wrote that the Commission will soon present a 19th package of sanctions targeting cryptocurrencies, banks, and energy. The Commission will also propose accelerating the phase-out of fossil fuel imports from Russia. More than 3 years after Russia launched its military campaign in Ukraine, the U.S. and the European Union still import billions of dollars worth of energy and goods from Russia, from liquefied natural gas to enriched uranium. The EU has long said it will end its dependence on Russian energy, making it a key priority after the conflict in Ukraine broke out in May 2022, when it plans to end its purchases of Russian oil and gas by May 1, 2028. However, recent signs suggest that Europe faces challenges in cutting ties with Russian gas. European countries have been trying to find alternatives to pipeline gas supplied by Russia, including importing liquefied natural gas, LNG. However, imported LNG from abroad is much more expensive than burning natural gas supplied by pipeline from Russia under long-term contracts. The U.S. has stepped up pressure on Europe to play a stronger role in helping to end Russia's military campaign in Ukraine. Mr. Trump has demanded that the EU impose tariffs on India and China, the biggest buyers of Russian oil, and stop importing energy from Russia. On 13th, President Trump sent a letter to NATO countries urging them to stop buying Russian oil, and said he was ready to impose major sanctions to end the conflict at home. President Trump also warned of economic pressure on Russia. Trump said sanctions on banks and oil and tariffs would be very heavy. President Trump also asserted that he had done a lot to pressure Russia, mentioning raising tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. He also argued that this was a European problem, not an American problem. This is not the first time in September that President Trump has said he is disappointed with the Russian leader. On 2nd, the White House boss announced that he would take certain measures. A few days later, Trump said he was ready to move on to a second phase of sanctions against Russia.